Hi, I'm Cameron. I don't just read comics. I love them. And welcome to my 30th birthday comic book haul. I kind of got a little carried away because I don't buy a lot of omnis, but I want to read more. And I've been catching myself reading so much more. And the slate that DC announced for omnibuses is absolutely nuts. So I decided that I'm going to get a couple, and then I got carried away with birthday stuff. So here's just a big old omnibus trade paperback haul that I got around the time of my 30th birthday. Please check out my rest in peace to my 20s birthday sign made by my girlfriend in my apartment. So you're just along on the ride with me. But the first thing I actually want to show you isn't even a trade at all. It is a San Diego book. It is Absolute Power #1. Foil variant for SDCC. It's the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez variant, and I actually submitted it to the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez signing. 9/8, 1 of 1 currently. Nobody else has submitted it for signature for him, so I'm pretty cool in that regard. I feel very lucky to have that book. But yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick. But now let's get into it. So I'll show you where I got these from, how I got them. Some of these were gifts. Some of these I bought. And I never buy full price. Just number one rule, in comic book buying, never pay full price. This first book is called Our Bones Dust. My buddy looked through my collection and saw what I didn't have and got me a couple trades. So the first one is Our Bones Dust by Ben Stenbeck. I have no idea what this book is. It looks really, really good. Ben Stenbeck. Looking forward to this. It's an image book. Dave Stewart. Does Dave Stewart do the story and artist? Ben Stenbeck. Colorist Dave Stewart. I like Dave Stewart's colors. I just couldn't name you what he's done, but I've seen his name before. Russ Wooten on the lettering. I like Russ Wooten's lettering. So super cool. It looks cool. Our Bones Dust. A nightmare landscape of brutality and blood. That's totally my vibe. Some would say, my girlfriend might say, that's how she described my apartment. Next up, another gift from that buddy, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. I don't know if I need to say more. Patrick Horvath on the art and the writing. Letters by Hassan Otsmane Elhau. This is the book of the year. Everyone's talking about it. Just came out of nowhere. Horror book. Home is Where the Heart Stops. Again, my vibe. Really excited to read this. Yeah, this is going to I'm probably going to read this pretty soon. Okay, East of West. This is, okay, so I just had the hardcover, like the out of print hardcover, and I sold it because I needed some money for more comics. I just needed to make some space, and so I never read it, but I sold it. I regret that now because Nick Dragata on Absolute Batman is crushing, and so this is his book with Jonathan Hickman, who's also crushing at Marvel right now, and yeah, he gifted me Volume 1, so I'm really excited to read this. Volume 1, East of West. Looks like it's a 10-volume series, which is good news for me. I'll definitely check it out. I'm excited about this. Let me skim through really quick. Yeah, Nick Dragata. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I'd read some of his Superman stuff, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I don't think I was ready, but tonally, I'm sure he's just sick, and he seems like such a sick guy, so... Okay, next up is actually 2 I got yesterday. My comic shop had a sale, and they were selling all 3 volumes of What's the Furthest Place from Here? So I got all 3. And I already had Volume 1, so I'm listening to Matt Rosenberg. So Matt Rosenberg, Tyler Boss on the art. I just really like Matt Rosenberg's writing. I did a podcast review on 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, one of my favorite indies of all time. Volumes 2 and 3 of this one. It's only up to Volume 3. So that I have a couple books, indies I'm going to read for my Friday reviews, but these are going to be up there. I think after I catch up on Criminal, I think that's the goal. Catch up on Criminal and then read these. But yeah, I'm glad I have those. Okay, next up is Nailbiter Volume 1, which is another horror book. Even Scott Snyder says, if Josh died, I wish he'd leave Nailbiter to me in his will so I could say it was my idea. It's just a gnarly horror book. Early Josh Williamson, Nailbiter Volume 1. Bought this at House of Secrets in Burbank because it's kind of by where I'm working right now, and I talked to a guy, Leland, there, who was very helpful. and want to give me something to read. So I said, yeah, I'll go pick this up. I'll check it out. Nailbiter. Everyone knows I love Josh Williamson, so let me go check it out. Okay. So those are the cutesy trades. I also have Dark Spaces Dungeon and Dark Spaces Wildfire. Hayden Sherman books. I couldn't find them, but they're around here somewhere. I'm going to read those. Hayden Sherman, I want to read those, and I want to talk to you. Okay, so next up, we have a bunch of omnis. I got carried away. But I turned 30 once. The first one being DC versus Marvel Omnibus. I got the Jim Lee cover. This one I got paranoid in my head because everyone was saying it's now out of print. It's sold out. And so I was like, so I went to cheap. Actually, I bought all these, this whole stack of cheap graphic novels for a good deal. Again, never fully pay full price. So I was like, I need this. I'm going to get the Amalgam Jim Lee cover too for when that omnibus comes out in December. So yeah, now I have it. And I didn't realize it collects a ton of the stuff. Great, cool book, cool wraparound cover. The Omni everyone's talking about. I just wanted to make sure I got my copy. Okay, so now is what I'm going to read next. Currently, if you're following the channel, I'm reading Unbeatable Score Girl Omnibus. But after that, I'm kind of like kicking around what other omnibus am I going to read when that's done? Because I'm trying to like really finish that. So I picked the next biggest Marvel omnibus, which is Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing. This one, I got a bonus at work. This is all, again, cheap graphic novels. I got a bonus at work, and I decided I'm going to spend that on comic books. I'm going to buy a big Omni. So I saved a bunch of it, and I got this with the rest. And I just think that I started this run. I probably literally, I think this is this collects like 63 issues. But the run, I believe, is only 50. Yeah, the run's only 50. I read the run up until like the 30th issue digitally, and I collected it. But I just never... I couldn't afford it, and I couldn't keep up at the time. And I was like, I'm just going to wait till the whole thing's over, and then I'm going to read it. And here we are. I think this is up next for me. I loved it. Joe Maddon's art, amazing. Al Ewing, obviously, tremendous writer. So I think that's what I'm going to read next. And now, these are the first three that started me buying all these crazy books. First one is, I think, a DC omnibus that I'm so glad is announced and so glad that happened. And everyone who's talking about reading it is so excited. That is the Superman Triangle Era Omnibus. Look at this beautiful, it's a Jerry Ordway cover. I don't know what issue it's from, but this is like... when I picture Superman and when I got into Superman as like a kid, these are all the back issues I'd find. I just think that this generation of Superman is so important. For those wondering where it exists in history, it is post John Byrne. The Triangle Era led into the death and return of Superman Omni. So all of this is collecting the stuff right before that. The Little Triangle is an ongoing story that takes place across 5 Superman titles at the time. And there's all-time creators. Danjurgens, Jerry Ordway, Roger Stern, Louis Simonson, Bob McLeod, John Bogdanove. Low-key, I love John Bogdanov's art. And Jerry Ordway, of course. And Danjurgens, of course. Like, see, it's just all-time. Okay, next up is a book that everyone has been talking about. It's so popular. And that book is Moon Knight by Jed MacKay. The funny part is, this arc isn't even over yet. So his run on Moon Knight is not done, but we have one Omni, and it doesn't say Volume 1. So it's him, and I believe the artist is Alessandro Capuccio. I really don't read Moon Knight. I've read the Warren Ellis stuff, but that didn't... Actually, fun fact, probably the first video I ever recorded, and then never posted, because I thought my video and my review was so bad. I didn't understand what was going on. Everyone's talking about this run, though, and Jed MacKay is the guy right now at Marvel. So let me figure out what all the hype's about in his Moon Knight run. Looks good. And this Greg Capullo cover is absurd. It's just absolutely absurd. And that's the other half of the reason I bought this, if I'm being 110%. Lastly is a book that I have wanted for a long time. I recently read New X-Men, so I'm kind of like on an X-Men kick. And that is going to be... I also love Deadly Class. So, Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender Omnibus. This is the Rick Remender run. I don't know who does the art. Jerome Pena, Eastside Arabic does the covers. Phil Noto, Philip Tan, Mark Brooks. Wow. This book's been in and out of print. It always sells out. Everyone loves it. So, yeah, I wanted to pick this up. So that is the last book. I think I want to read all of these like very soon, and I'm all caught up on my pull list, so it's time. So there you go. My name's Cameron. I don't just read comics. I love them. Here is my big fat omnibus haul, and I got to go sell a bunch of books to make space for these. So I don't just read comics. I love them. I'll see you next time.